I'm Massimo, and this is Ushai, the path of change and transformation. In the previous episode, we talked about discernment, about shadows, and about how important it is to choose with awareness. Today I want to take you into a different, more subtle territory, that of trust. Because after learning to recognize what is not authentic, one essential question remains. How do we live when we stop trying to control everything? We live in an age where we're taught that everything must be under control. Our career, relationships, health, even emotions. We must have a plan, a strategy, a solution for every problem. And so we spend our lives pushing, forcing, resisting. But have you ever asked yourself how much all this control costs us? How much energy we burn trying to bend reality to our desires? How much tension we accumulate when things don't go as we planned? I've lived it myself. For years I tried to control my spiritual path. I wanted immediate results, deep experiences, rapid transformations. I did ceremony after ceremony, read book after book, search for teachers everywhere. But the more I pushed, the further I drifted from myself. The more I tried to control, the more I got lost. Until one day in the mountains of Peru, an elder told me something that changed me. When you plant a seed, you don't pull the plant to make it grow faster. You give it water, you give it light, and then you trust the earth. Think of a river. The river doesn't fight against the rocks. It flows around them. It doesn't resist the current. It follows it. It doesn't ask itself whether the path is right. It simply flows. And in that way, it always finds its way to the sea. And what do? We stand in front of the rock and hit it with all our strength, expecting it to move. And when it doesn't move, we get angry, frustrated, stuck. But the problem isn't the rock. The problem is that we've forgotten how to flow. Flowing doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean abandoning your dreams. Flowing means choosing the path of least resistance without losing your direction. It means recognizing when it's time to push and when it's time to let go. It's the art of moving with life instead of against it. My search became exactly this: learning to generate inner and outer fluidity consciously. In the previous episode, I spoke about the importance of not relying blindly on external guides. But there is another, more subtle dependence, the dependence on controlling our own path. Many people begin with the sincere desire to know themselves, but end up turning the search into another form of rigidity. Obligatory meditations, obsessive practices, constant judgment of every thought or emotion, as if awakening were an exam to pass. But the truth is different. The energy that lives within you does not ask for control. It asks for trust. It's like breathing. If you try to control it, it becomes strained. But when you trust the body, you breathe without thinking. You inhale, you exhale effortlessly, fearlessly. The same is true for our inner life. When you stop forcing growth, when you stop judging yourself for every fall, when you trust the process, life begins to flow again. Let me share 2 moments that taught me what it truly means to flow. The first was during my first journey to Peru. I arrived with a precise agenda. I wanted answers, clarity, transformation. But for days, nothing happened. No visions, no revelations. I felt frustrated, almost disappointed. Until one day, walking in Machu Picchu without expecting anything, the answer came. Not like lightning, but like a quiet whisper. Stop searching. You are already where you need to be. And at that very moment, something happened that still moves me today. A condor flew above me, circling twice in the sky. Maybe coincidence, maybe not. But in that moment, for me, it was the answer. I understood. The answer had always been there, but my urgency to find it had hidden it from me. The second moment is simpler, but just as profound. I was going through a difficult period. Projects that weren't moving, toxic relationships, uncertain health. Every day felt like a battle, until I met Turtle Heart, an elder North American priest who carried the wisdom of the prairies, the Great Lakes, the sacred mountains. He said to me, "And what if you stop fighting? What if you allowed life to find its own design?" At first it sounded absurd, but then I tried. I stopped pushing. I stopped searching for immediate solutions and simply began to be present with what was there. And something happened. Things began to change. Not because I had found the perfect solution, but because I had stopped opposing the natural flow of life. So, how do we learn to flow? It's not magic. It's a living practice. First, breathe and flow consciously. Every time you feel tension rising, stop. Close your eyes. Imagine you're standing in the rain or in a flowing river. Let the water pass through you, washing away every tension, every obstacle, not to calm yourself, but to remind you that you are alive. Breathing happens on its own, just like life. Second, observe and feel. When something doesn't go the way you want, ask yourself, what is this situation teaching me? Why am I reacting like this? You don't need an immediate answer. You only need to open space for feeling. Third, trust time. Growth is not linear. There are phases of expansion and phases of contraction. And that's perfectly fine, because life breathes like we do, and it never stops. It expands and it withdraws. You're not broken if you're moving through a dark moment. You're human, and precisely because you're human, the flow of life moves within you. Today I've spoken to you about flowing, about trust, about letting go. But flowing does not mean abandoning responsibility. It means choosing with awareness when to act and when to release. Recognizing that not everything is under your control and that it's okay that way. Trust. The energy that inhabits you and sustains you in the living cosmos knows how to show you the way. You only need to stop getting in its way. Breathe, flow, trust. And in that trust, life begins to flow again. If these words touched you, share them with someone you feel close to. Goodbye. See you in the next episode. I'm Massimo, and this is Ushai, the path of change and transformation.